Rosin, also called colophony or Greek pitch, is a solid form of resin obtained from pines and some other plants, mostly conifers, produced by heating fresh liquid resin to vaporize the volatile liquid terpene components. It is semi-transparent and varies in color from yellow to black. At room temperature, rosin is brittle, but it melts at stove-top temperature. It chiefly consists of various resin acids, especially abietic acid. The term colophony comes from colophonia resina, Latin for resin from colophon, an ancient Ionic city. Uses. Rosin is an ingredient in printing inks, photocopying and laser printing paper, varnishes, adhesives, soap, paper sizing, soda, soldering fluxes, and sealing wax. Rosin can be used as a glazing agent in medicines and chewing gum. It is denoted by E number E915. A related glycerol ester can be used as an emulsifier in soft drinks. In pharmaceuticals, rosin forms an ingredient in several plasters and ointments. In industry, rosin is a flux used in soldering. The lead tin solder commonly used in electronics has about 1% rosin as a flux core, helping the molten metal flow and making a better connection by reducing the refractory solid oxide layer formed at the surface back to metal. It is frequently seen as the burnt or clear residue around new soldering. A mixture of pitch and rosin is used to make a surface against which glass is polished when making optical components such as lenses. Rosin is added in small quantities to traditional linseed oil, sand gap fillers used in building work. When mixed with waxes and oils, rosin is the main ingredient of mystic smoke, a gum which, when rubbed and suddenly stretched, appears to produce puffs of smoke from the fingertips. Rosin is extensively used for its friction-increasing capacity in several fields. Players of bowed string instruments rub cakes or blocks of rosin on the bow hair so it can grip the strings and make them speak or vibrate clearly. Extra substances such as beeswax, gold, silver, tin, or meteoric iron are sometimes added to the rosin to modify its stiction, friction properties, and the tone it produces. Powdered rosin can be applied to new hair, for example with a felt pad or cloth, to reduce the time taken in getting sufficient rosin onto the hair. Rosin is often applied to the bow before playing the instrument. Lighter rosin is used for violins and violas. There are darker rosins for cellos and specific, distinguishing types for basses. For more, see bow. Violin rosin can be applied to the bridges in other musical instruments, such as the banjo and banjolele, in order to prevent the bridge from moving during vigorous playing. Ballet, flamenco, and Irish dancers are known to rub the tips and heels of the shoes in powdered rosin to reduce slippage on clean wooden dance floors or competition performance stages. It was at one time used in the same way in fencing and is still used as such by boxers. Gymnasts and team handball players use it to improve grip. Rock climbers have used it in some locations, but it fouls the rock, so usage is now highly discouraged. Olympic weightlifters rub the soles of the weightlifting boots in rosin to improve traction on the platform. It is applied onto the starting line of drag racing courses used to improve traction. Bull riders rub rosin on the rope and glove for additional grip. Baseball pitchers and 10-pin bowlers may use a small cloth bag of powdered rosin for better ball control. Rosin can be applied to the hands in aerial acrobatics such as aerial silks and pole dancing to increase grip. Other uses are not based on friction. Fine art uses rosin for tempera emulsions and as painting medium component for oil paintings. It is soluble in oil of turpentine and turpentine substitute, and needs to be warmed. In a printmaking technique, aquatint rosin is used on the etching plate in order to create surfaces in gray tones. In archery, when a new bow string is being made, the wax for maintenance purposes, rosin may be present in the wax mixture. This provides an amount of tackiness to the string to hold its constituent strands together and reduce wear and fraying. Dog groomers use powdered rosin to aid in removal of excess hair from deep in the ear canal. Some brands of flypaper use a solution of rosin and rubber as the adhesive. Rosin is sometimes used as an ingredient in dubbing wax used in fly dyeing. Rosin is used to encapsulate epoxy integrated circuits. Pharmaceutical rosin and its derivatives also exhibit wide-ranging pharmaceutical applications. Rosin derivatives show excellent film-forming and coating properties. They are also used for tablet film and enteric coating purpose. Rosins have also been used to formulate microcapsules and nanoparticles. Glycerol, sorbitol, and mannitol esters of rosin are used as chewing gum bases for medicinal applications. The degradation and biocompatibility of rosin and rosin-based biomaterials has been examined in vitro and in vivo production. Rosin is the resinous constituent of the oleoresin exuded by various species of pine, known in commerce as crude turpentine. The separation of the oleoresin into the essential oil and common rosin is accomplished by distillation in large copper stills. The essential oil is carried off at a temperature of between 100 degrees and 160 degrees Celsius, leaving fluid rosin, which is run off through a tap at the bottom of the still, and purified by passing through straining wadding. Rosin varies in color according to the age of the tree from which the turpentine is drawn and the degree of heat applied in distillation, from an opaque, almost pitch-black substance through grades of brown and yellow to an almost perfectly transparent colorless glassy mass. The commercial grades are numerous, ranging by letters from A to N, superior to which W and WW varieties, the latter having about 3 times the value of the common qualities. Tall oil rosin is produced during the distillation of crude tall oil, a byproduct of the craft paper making process. When pine trees are harvested, the resinous portions of fallen or felled trees like longleaf and slash pines, when allowed to remain upon the ground, resist decay indefinitely. This stump waste, through the use of destructive distillation as solvent processes, can be used to make products including rosin. This type of rosin is typically called wood rosin, because the turpentine and pine oil from destructive distillation become somewhat contaminated with other distillation products. Solvent processes are commonly used. In this process, stumps and roots are chipped and soaked in the light end of the heavy naphtha fraction from a crude oil refinery. Multi-stage countercurrent extraction is commonly used, so fresh naphtha first contacts wood leached in intermediate stages and naphtha laden with rosin from intermediate stages contacts unleached wood before vacuum distillation to recover naphtha from the rosin. Fatty acids, turpentine, and other constituents later separated through steam distillation. Leached wood is steamed for additional naphtha recovery prior to burning for energy recovery. After the solvent has been recovered, the terpene oils are separated by fractional distillation and recovered mainly as refined turpentine, dipentene, and pine oil. The non-volatile residue from the extract is wood rosin of rather dark color. Upgrading of the rosin is carried out by clarification methods that generally may include bed filtering of furfural treatment of rosin solvent solution. On a large scale, rosin is treated by destructive distillation for the production of rosin spirit, pineal and rosin oil. The last enters into the composition of some of the solid lubricating greases, and is also used as an adulterant of other oils. Properties. Rosin is brittle and friable, with a faint piney odor. It is typically a glassy solid, though some rosins will form crystals, especially when brought into solution. The practical melting point varies with different specimens, some being semi-fluid at the temperature of boiling water, others melting at 100 degrees Celsius to 120 degrees Celsius. It is very flammable, burning with a smoky flame, so care should be taken when melting it. It is soluble in alcohol, ether, benzene and chloroform. Rosin consists mainly of abietic acid, and combines with caustic alkalis to form salts that are known as rosin soaps. In addition to its extensive use in soap making, rosin is largely employed in making varnishes, sealing wax and various adhesives. It is also used for preparing shoemaker's wax, for pitching lager beer casks, and numerous minor purposes. Prolonged exposure to rosin fumes released during soldering can cause occupational asthma in sensitive individuals. Although it is not known which component of the fumes causes the problem, the type of rosin used with bowed string instruments is determined by the diameter of the strings. Generally, this means that the larger the instrument is, the softer the rosin should be. For instance, double bass rosin is generally soft enough to be pliable with slow movements. A cake of bass rosin left in a single position for several months will show evidence of flow, especially in warmer weather. Prolonged exposure to rosin by handling rosin-coated products, for example, laser print or photocopying paper, can give rise to a form of industrial contact dermatitis.